All right, let's dive right in. Today, we're going to talk about something that might just change the way you see every meeting, every party, and every group chat you're a part of. We're talking about the quietest person in the room and the incredible power they might be hiding in plain sight.
So let me just ask you this. When you walk into a room and you look around, who do you automatically think is the strongest person there? Is it the one with the loudest voice? The one who seems to have an opinion on absolutely everything? Well, we're about to flip that whole idea on its head. Okay, first things first, we have to talk about something I call the silent assumption. It's this automatic judgment that, let's be honest, we all make about people who are quiet.
You know the scene, right? You're in a big brainstorming meeting at work. Ideas are just flying everywhere. Or maybe you're at a party. It's loud, everyone's chatting away. And then there's that one person. They're there, they're present, but they're not really saying much. You know exactly who I'm talking about.
And what's our immediate thought? Our brain just leaps to all these conclusions, doesn't it? We label them as shy or bored, lacking confidence, maybe even intimidated by everyone else. And deep down, we subconsciously file their silence under one category: weakness. But what if we're not just wrong? What if we're completely backward? This is where things get really interesting, because we need to start exploring a totally different kind of power. Just consider this for a second. What if their quietness isn't a passive thing that just happens to them? What if it's an active choice? What if it's not an absence of thought, but a moment that is absolutely jam-packed with it? What if it's actually a strategy? So here's the breakdown, the myth versus the reality. What we see is someone who looks passive, maybe even a little disengaged. But what's actually happening? They are in a state of intense observation and processing. While we see weakness, they're busy connecting dots and identifying patterns that everyone else is literally too busy talking to even notice. It's not empty silence at all. It's this secret, three-step cognitive workout. First, they're absorbing everything, all the information, the dynamics, the unspoken cues. Then they start to identify the patterns in all that noise. And finally, from all that deep analysis, boom, they form a powerful, potent insight. So what's the payoff for all this quiet work? Well, it gives them this incredible, completely unseen advantage. See, here's the key. Their sense of strength is internal. It doesn't come from getting nods of approval or from being the center of attention. Their confidence is built from the inside out, based entirely on their own observations and their own analysis. And the result of that internal strength is huge. Because they aren't desperate for external validation, they become incredibly hard to manipulate. They're way less likely to get sucked into groupthink just to fit in. They basically develop a powerful immunity to social pressure because they trust the data they've gathered themselves over the noise of the crowd. And there's actually a name for this superpower. It's called cognitive strength, and it has nothing to do with how loud you are. It's the ability to think with real intention, to process information on a much deeper level, and to give a thoughtful response instead of just a knee-jerk reaction. Which brings us to our final and maybe the most important point. What happens when the quiet person finally does decide to speak? Well, that's when you have to stop and listen for the wait. Because they speak so rarely, when they do, their words just land differently. They have this incredible impact. It's almost like the silence that came before was building a stage just for them, putting a spotlight on what they're about to say. Think about it. Most conversation is a game of quantity, right? Filling silence, looking for validation, reacting to the noise. The quiet observer is playing a totally different game. It is all about quality. They don't fill silence, they break it. They're not looking for validation, they're offering an insight. They don't just react, they speak with intention. So if you take one thing away today, let it be this. Their power doesn't exist in spite of their silence. It exists because of it. That silence, that's the workshop. That's where their potent, impactful words are forged. It is the very foundation of their strength. So I'll leave you with this thought. The next time you're in a room and you notice that quiet person, what are you going to see? Will you fall back on the old, easy assumption of weakness? Or will you recognize a powerful mind at work? And maybe, just maybe, lean in a little closer when they finally decide to speak.